Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, the 8th. Exhausting weekend for me. I don't know about you guys. I got a big mess behind me. Been working on some electronic stuff, so hopefully I get that moved out of here today. But yes, the markets, well, coming in here to the volume profile, the S&P 500 recovering by quite a bit on Friday, and oh my gosh, that was a crazy move because this sell-off that morning was so intense. It went basically until we closed down, European close, and then afterwards it was nothing but up, just as strong on the way going up. Now here in the morning Sunday session, pulling back quite a bit. Asian and European sessions both showing a little bit of risk. And when we come back over here, the treasury yields are pushing down again. Now they're kind of backing off, so who knows? We'll want to monitor that closely, but you can see here in the past 5 minutes or so, they've already moved up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ticks, so maybe some reprieve today. Oil, it extended its gains overnight. There was an attack on a Saudi oil facility, but it has since given up some of those gains. Gold continues to struggle. So they opened up higher, but then some dollar strength came in there, and it really hurts. Silver too, although it's still kind of just where it was Friday. Copper coming back a little bit too. There does appear to be like some tightening in China and decreased growth estimates, although they may just be like I don't want to say hedging, but trying to make it, give them easy numbers so that they can outperform later, right? Anyways. And then Bitcoin on Friday moved back up into that 50,000 level, and still kind of flattening off and going. I would call it mostly sideways. I mean, it's been quite some time in this area now. Now that said, usually it doesn't come up to a high, flatten off, and then dump. But it could happen. It can happen. Anyways, what do we got? And then let's come in here, check our news and so forth. Okay, so we got some bill auctions today, consumer inflation expectations. That can't be right. That time. Final wholesale inventories, 10. I guess that's just a number that they don't post often. It's not even on my, it's not even on the Forex Factory one. Okay, so we got that. Zero hedge. Why yields are about to reverse hard. Fine FX hedged DM rates are now a huge bargain for Japanese investors, as seen in record inflows into UK debt. Well, that could do it. I'm just kind of looking at the way it's going. I think I'm biased long here. Oh, we forgot to turn on text to speech. There we go. And the E-mini is pumping pretty hard here too, huh? 30-year session low 2.29. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people covering. But does that mean that all these techs that got routed so hard on Friday will come roaring back here? So they're having trouble even getting him to bite at 132. You think it looks extremely bullish? I just think it's so funny when people look at a chart and they say, this is bullish or bearish. You realize that it can do whatever it wants, right? It would be an unusual pattern for it to crash here, though. But yet dollar going up and Bitcoin going up too. You notice, isn't it so funny that when Bitcoin goes up and something's going on, like if the dollar falls and Bitcoin goes up at the same time, then everybody's like, this is showing that there is, Bitcoin is taking its place as a global currency, yada, yada, yada. And then when the dollar recovers and Bitcoin doesn't do anything, yeah, the correlation is super strong, guys. Nah, it was an excuse, right? It happened. It was a coincidence that they moved up at the same time, and now they're coming back. There isn't actually a correlation. That or that somebody bought it because of dollar weakness, but there's not going to sell it on dollar strength. Hey, Big Toasty. The thing is, I think that Bitcoin is doing what it is because there's just nobody. They need another big person to come in. A lot of Bitcoin mania. Yeah, but I would say it's still not what it was. I mean, part of it is that I don't actively talk about it. Like I used to be making videos about it, right? And I stopped because it wasn't really attracting the audience that I wanted. But back then it seemed like it was so much more crazy in 2017, right? This in 2017 or in 2021 now is moving without that widespread public buy-in. And I still look on Facebook and I see people thinking, well, last time everybody got screwed in Bitcoin and it's going to come back down again. And so I'm just not sophisticated enough to deal with it. So on the retail side, like this is like there was some corporate FOMO, but it's only like the most reckless people that got in, right? Okay. Well, I'll take another one at 30 if they give it. What about garlic? Let's go look. I think it's still at 1.5. It's almost 30. It was like 3 cents at one point, but 1.5. So like, this is just like another perfect example though, right? Like on the technical side. Oh, guys, look at it. Oh, man. A big spike, bull flag, consolidation. Guys, it's going to go higher. We're going to be seeing 4 cents here soon. Look at that. Y'all better FOMO in now. It can do whatever it wants. I don't really care which coins you bought, to be honest with you, Black Beauty Machine. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just... Ooh, it took it. Okay. Well, that was a little too fast. It's gonna be funny if the treasuries turn around and dump on me. Chinese military aircraft entered Taiwan's ADIZ on March 8th. That's today. What's an ADIZ? Air Defense Identification Zone is an airspace over land or water in which the identification, location, and control of a civil aircraft is performed in the interest of national security. I see. So that's maybe still not enough to be a big deal. I'm not sure. Did we get a gap? It says a gap. No. No. I didn't get one over here. I don't know what Gabby's doing here. Okay, 29.5. How many do I have? 3? Especially when it's new people. Let me tell you something. If you're new, don't tell me about Bitcoin. I have absolutely zero patience for people coming into my stream and trying to pump shit. Right? I focus on specific instruments. I do watch Bitcoin, but it's telling me don't buy it, and I'm out. He didn't get in Bitcoin early. Well, I've made some money on it, but right now the trade signal that I've got says don't buy. So I am totally a hater. I totally hate. You know what I hate? I hate people trying to convince other people to make investments. I absolutely hate it. There is nothing in this world, I think, at this point, that I hate more than when people try to convince each other on an investment. I bought this thing, guys. It's going up. We're going to the moon. Everybody, let's buy it. No, fuck you. Get out if that's what you're going to do, because that is not an effective trading strategy. It is a lie. You should not follow other people. You should make your investments based on your own prudent analysis and your own strategy and a history of what works and what doesn't work. And when you come in and you're all FOMO this and that, you're essentially deceiving people. You're telling them that the way that the market works is you buy something and then everybody else rushes into it, which, because of the square root law of market large meta order impact, it doesn't work that way. The more people that buy in, the less and less the impact that they actually have is. So eventually it gets to a point where it's just prone to fall. You have to have an actual reason. There has to be an actual reason for it to be valued higher, or it's going to fall, or it's going to fall back down. Okay, well, I can listen. I give you one more chance, but here's the other thing. Of course, I want my YouTube channel to be successful, but you know what I care more about? I care more about that I enjoy chat, and if you're an asshole, I'll just ban you. But I didn't lose money on Bitcoin. We made money in 2017, and then I called the top correctly, And then after it came back down to 6K, we bought it again and we made money off of that. And then since then, I've been out. And I have called the top now 4 times successfully. This time, maybe we could consider it still a successful call. But yeah, there's a couple of things that have gone on this time around that are a little bit unique. So I'm gonna give it some leeway. So my signal said that we were supposed to have a top when Elon Musk stepped in, when he did his tweet, and that saved it. That's why I think maybe it's kind of going sideways the way that it is. So the question is if they're able to hold it long enough to give it enough of a base and the actual network transactions keep up, because in order for it to go higher, they're going to have to transact on the network, right? So it doesn't tell me a number, right? It tells me a moment. You know what I mean? Like if you look at like a technical indicator, like say RSI, I can't necessarily tell you what the next value of the RSI is going to be, right? It depends on what the price does. So here, this is not, I don't consider it a technical indicator because it is based on fundamentals. But here, I can't tell you what it's going to be until it gets there. But it already pushed the level and it pulled back. And then they're pushing it again and likely to pull back again. What's your thoughts on Elliott Wave does a 30-week? Well, I don't know. The thing about it is you could say there's a way to say that like a theory is true or works and it'd be completely useless to you trading. You know what I mean? So what I will say is that I have seen no empirical evidence to suggest that the number of waves that you've had in a move is able to predict that the next move is going to be up or down. I've seen no such empirical evidence. But here's the thing, Grant. I don't care what Elon does. To be honest, Elon doesn't understand as much about the market as some of us do. He thinks something about the market that is false. Otherwise, he wouldn't have tried to pump Dogecoin. He's going to lose money on it. Yeah, got my entire family out of poverty this year. Did you sell it? Because if you haven't sold it, then you don't have shit yet. Remember that. Maybe. I think that Elon should stick to the thing that he's good at and not tell people lies about the market. So, I mean, he's not lying, but what he is spreading is a common misconception about the way the market works that is harmful to investors. That we can pump Dogecoin and it's going to be worth $1. Absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. I mean, $4,000 isn't that much, dude. If $4,000 got you out of poverty, then I'm a little bit concerned for you. What would happen if Bitcoin moved down to 6K today? Like, you realize that is within the realm of possibility, right? How are you today? Okay, 38, 37. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting Okay, so on the Bitcoin, I've had my rant. The next person, except for Jay Constant, because I know him, new person that comes in and talks about that shit is banned, because I'm not gonna have some pump and dump group come in and take over my stream like that. Not interested. But no, the market still seems to be, so far this morning, it looks to me like it is in focus on the rates again. Now, we had a really strong move up. It definitely got me to buy in. It's coming back pretty hard. Equities still look bullish. This could be a good spot to absorb for higher. Don't be so sensitive. No, see, I know what's going on here, guys. You can't fucking bullshit me. So I have a limit, and I have rules, and I can ban whoever I want whenever I want. And when people come in and make fake accounts and try and generate conversation about a particular thing to take the stream off topic, I'm not going to put up with it. Yeah. Oh, HF, they're probably all the same person, right? You think do these people think we're stupid? I just don't. I don't. They must be stupid to believe that anybody would fall for that shit. It could be Salim. I don't know why Salim would come in and push Bitcoin though. And using multiple accounts at the same time seems kind of out of character for him. I don't know if he actually has the the mental faculties to try and get that to work. I think it could just be a pump and dump group that thinks that that every day they come in and they try and pump a stock, and maybe it's one or two guys, and they do this to a bunch of other streams, and now they've come in and they're like, oh, these people are actually serious about what they do. The dexterity. Yeah, I don't know. See, if you come in and you say something stupid, even if you're brand new, I'm just going to ban you. It's that simple, folks. It's that simple. What are your thoughts about the NASDAQ? Yeah, okay, so I think I kind of understand what you're hinting at here, Bill. It seems to me like, well, it doesn't seem to me. Tech has been routed pretty hard, right? Tesla in particular, just decimated. I think that I just had a thought about something else. We'll fix that in a second. I'm not sure that it's over, because Tesla is still like has a crazy valuation, Like, it's still being valued as worth more than all of the other car companies combined. And people will say, like, well, it's not really a car company, but it's like you've got to justify that kind of a market cap somehow. You know what I mean? So Tesla's come back a good 20%. I'm just not convinced that it's over. And if Tesla's not over, then I'm sure that a lot of other ones aren't over either, right? So like Tesla has a market cap of 573 billion. Okay. It's just compared to, I guess Apple is 4 times that, but I'm just not convinced that this is like one of the top 10 largest companies in the US, sort of a thing. Nothing's wrong with Bitcoin. We talk about Bitcoin all of the time, other than that I don't think that it's a good buy right now. What I have a problem with is when a bunch of new people come in and are suddenly interested in talking about it. When I clearly have no interest in talking about it. Yeah, we can get rid of all of them. What can I say? I know what I'm doing, and I'm not interested in this FOMO bullshit is only attractive to people that don't know what they're doing and don't have an edge, right? Okay, so J2 took a trade there. I'm just noticing that they're kind of a little equal. So I'm going to edit their strategies. I'm going to keep the stop, but I'm going to give them equal risk reward. That should give me a better idea of whether the level 2 thing is working here or not. Oh dear. Hold up. Where is my... sound not coming out of the right ear. There we go. Well, it's coming back up. There seems to be a decent battle going on. Over whether treasuries are going to go up or down today. I'm not really seeing the argument in the tape, but this does kind of look more like market makers don't want to hold trades. For the first time since January 14th, 2020, the national average for diesel has surpassed $3 per gallon. So see here at 31.5, if they tick up again, how is it going to go? Are you here every day? I am here every day, basically. Every weekday. Unless, like, something very wrong is happening. Every once in a while, I have to take a break, and I'll warn you guys ahead of time. It does look like buyers are strong in the ES. I agree, Tosi. When it goes, it just goes, right? And it's very one directional. So buying here at 38, I'm not so sure would be very prudent, but we could do it. And we might get away with it. Yeah, I'm sure they're all fake accounts. You should just start reporting them, right? Unwanted commercial content or spam. Oh, Uzi's just going through and just hiding them all. Thanks. See, the thing is that you get into this mode where it's like, oh, but then you might unfairly ban somebody or something. But you know what? I don't give a fuck. Don't be stupid and you won't get banned. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, we don't have to have a large stream. My first thought is like, oh, but that could hurt the growth of the stream. What if you banned somebody that would be a good future listener? But then I'm like, no. The kind of person that would watch this stream won't be deterred by that. And when they see that sort of thing, they'd be like, no, I'm not going to participate in that, right? So somebody might want to come in and try and disrupt the stream in that manner, but it's not going to work for them. I've been subscribed ever since your gear. Oh, really? Thank you. You know, it's surprising to me that video ends up being the one. Well, I mean, I expected it to do well, and I definitely did a lot of research ahead of time, but I didn't expect it to be that popular and that lastingly popular, you know? So then I'm like, oh, I got to do more videos like that. But there's only so much you can say back here, you know what I mean? Yeah, well, so if there was stuff about gear, what would you want to talk? I guess we could make a video about monitors specifically. So I have a few things to say about monitors. Well, maybe it is Salim if he's giving us downvotes. It was really helpful because everyone else tried to sell so much, yet you just told the truth. Well, yeah, that's, you know, the interesting thing is that I did kind of suggest like part of one of the things that when I look back on that as I go, did I cater that video too much to me? Because to me, having, because I do all the back testing and stuff, having the really fast processor and everything, it like makes a big difference, right? And I'm like, but for most people, are they actually going to do that? But then it's like, well, but you should be thinking about going that way, you know? Well, that looks like spam too. Did you try going short there, Big Toasty? You're down 33% this year? Wow, that sounds like maybe you need to think about what your goals are. So I've been putting out some of this content on my TikTok, but maybe we should get into it here. One of the things that people do is they say, okay, I want to, I'm trying to beat the S&P 500. So the way that they do that is they go and they'll buy small cap stocks. Maybe they'll go and buy stocks that aren't actually in the S&P 500, right? So, yeah, if you're beating the S&P 500 with stocks that aren't in the S&P 500, then the S&P 500 is maybe not the appropriate benchmark for you, right? So for most people, at least these traders that are on Wall Street Bets and FinTalk and, you know, all these places boasting about their success or lack thereof, they're trading small companies. They're YOLOing in on small plays and like these short squeezes and things like that, right? So the S&P 500 isn't really an appropriate index for them. Probably the Russell 2000 is probably a better bet for them, the small cap stocks. And then you can kind of judge your performance. So me, I'm kind of going up against the Russell, and I'm beating the index by like half a percentage point. You know, so I'm doing just okay, right? I'm not necessarily a stock picker. Maybe I should be, but I wouldn't worry about it. You remember that when people give the video a thumbs down, that it actually boosts the video. The YouTube algorithm, at first they made it so that downvotes would reduce it, but they actually found that they got more engagement if they just counted interaction as interaction. So if somebody is coming in and creating a bunch of different accounts to try and downvote the video, great. Because the only thing that the downvote affects is that you yourself are unlikely to see it again. Which, good. If you're not into this stream, then good. We don't want you to come back. So you give the thumbs down and you don't see us as much. That's good. What is the Russell exactly? Well, so the S&P 500 is an index, right? Have a bunch of different stocks, and you know, it gives you the average of all of those stocks. Well, the Russell is also an index, but it's a much larger index. So the Russell 3000 is an index of the 3,000 largest companies, right? And the Russell 1000 is the top 1,000 of those companies. So the Russell 1000 is kind of analogous to the S&P 500, right? And then the Russell 2000 are the small caps, right? And then, right, so there's the 1000, there's the 2000, and then the 3000 is all of those combined, right? So if you're looking for a small cap stock, or not if you're looking for a small cap stock, but if you're investing in small cap stocks, then you should probably be judging your performance against the Russell, right? So then this kind of, once you put all of that in mind, now you have to start thinking of it on a completely different field, because most people just say, oh, I'm going to buy stock because somebody else told me to, right? If you don't have edge, then following other people, you know, it seems really attractive. But once you actually, you know, have developed a real system, that stuff's not interesting to you. It's just noise, especially when you know that they're maybe pushing stuff that's not going to work. You know what I mean? Russell 2K is weighted heavily in regional financials. Oh, well, you know, regional financials might be a good place to be right now, right? You want so right now there's definitely sector rotation going in, right? And so you're going to see them rotate away from the growth names like tech stocks, and they're going to rotate into interest rate sensitive names like banks, insurance companies, REITs, these sorts of things. So, but yeah, now when the Russell rebalances in the summer, that is one of the highest volume days of the year. Especially if you're trading in stocks, lots of scalping opportunity on those days. But By the way, good morning, guys. I don't know if I said good morning there, but good morning. Well, I don't like how much risk I put on there on that, but I think I played it pretty well. Oh, you're so fast. Thank you for the explanation. So the next part is, what are you actually trying to get, right? So when you invest in the small caps, you can ultimately make more, but it's also more risky. Like the Russell 3000 changes quite a bit from year to year, right? And sometimes you get in a name and it falls out, disappears. You know what I mean? What's happening? Well, nothing. Just run up the mill spam. Looks like we're dealing with it pretty easily. Who is the best trading resource for traders? Yourself. No, understand, developing edge. Here's the thing that I just don't get. Well, no, I think I do get it. Here's what I think goes on. People, they go into day trading and they think, well, I don't want to have a job. I don't want to have a boss anymore. I want to work for myself. And so day trading is a place that I can go and I can do that. And I think that the reason that they think about day trading is because it's comfortable to them. Like, you can come in and you can day trade and it'll still be like a job. It's just like it's a job, but with no boss, right? You come in, you follow the same technical signals every day and do your thing, and whatever, and then you make money, right? Well, you want to do that because you're still in the worker minion mindset, right? That mindset is, I have a job to do. I come in and I do that job and then I go home every day. Okay. But you're not doing that, right? You when you're working for yourself, you're an entrepreneur and you have to approach everything like an entrepreneur, which means that you have to innovate. Essentially, to be competitive, you have to innovate. And that is what it is with day trading. So in day trading, your best resource is going to be yourself. That is, you're going to have to go and investigate the markets and learn things about the markets that other people don't know and come up with trading strategies that other people haven't thought of. You can't come in and just follow somebody else. That's, if you want to just follow somebody else, then just go and work a 9-to-5 job. Right? But I think that that's the mindset that people come into, and you've just got to, if you're going to day trade, you got to get into the entrepreneur mindset. It could just be Salim. Who knows? I wouldn't worry about it too much, guys. The more you worry about it, the more you encourage spammers. So watch the Black Mirror episode where the likes girl gets messed up. I don't know. I'm not really into like horror kind of stuff. An insecure office worker living in a smiley, status-obsessed nightmare finds a way to join an old friend as one of society's elites. So here's another thing is I see this on TikTok too. People will try and approach TikTok like a worker. Like, they'll come in and they'll give you facts. Like, this is the one that drives me nuts, is they'll be like, here's some facts about fish or something like that. And it's like they basically looked and found the most popular post on Reddit, and then they're repurposing it for TikTok. Which, like, I guess if there's people that have never read that before, it's good. But those kinds of accounts never really do that well because, like, they're not creating their own content. Best educational resources is screen? Well, sure. You know, I Lucas, it really is. Like I always said, the best teacher is the market, right? I think the best teacher is the market, but I don't believe that screen time is the only way that you should study. I'm learning that there are things about the way the market behaves that your average person just isn't going to figure out from looking at the tape. You know what I mean? It's just too complicated for our tiny human brains to comprehend it when it's coming through there. Like the square root law of meta order impact. Well, you can go and you can read scholarly studies, and that's where I would recommend is if you're looking at books or even some kind of guru, I would always look for empirical evidence. You know, if they show you something, what's like the empirical evidence that they have? You notice that I try to stick to when I make my one-off videos, I try to stick to things that are objectively true. You know what I mean? That it's either objectively true or there's empirical evidence for it. I think the reason is most things, it's because if you can't figure it out by yourself, you will probably never become a successful trader. Well, to that some extent, that's true too, right? So there are some things that are basic about the market. I wouldn't say basic, but there are some things that, like, if you can't figure that one thing out, then certainly you're never going to find your own innovations to become, to be able to be successful, right? So the whole thing is you have to innovate. But kind of what I was getting at is, like, I think that for me, some of the most instructional things that I've done has been going and writing strategies and backtesting them and seeing how they perform and being able to go back and forth and see how changing different things tends to affect the strategy and how it affects it. Like because so many new traders that just only care about what the net profit that comes out is. And they don't look at, like, what is the Sharpe ratio and all this other stuff. Right? So something that happens very often, like we were talking about with the small cap stocks, is that somebody will come in and they'll buy a bunch of small cap stocks and they'll have a large overall gain. Maybe even they outperform their index. But when you look at the Sharpe ratio, you see that they took on excessive risk to do that. Okay, so taking on risk is a way to make money. But the issue with taking risk is that ultimately that comes back and bites you in the butt, right? Unless you have proper risk management and so forth. But even if you have proper risk management, some of those things will just catch up to you, right? But coming up with your own strategies, that's, even if it doesn't work, that is practicing that innovation process. Come up with an idea, test it, go through this stage. And part of it is also going to be working with other people. That's why we have this community, right? There have been geniuses who have blown up, sure. But there's a lot of people that just take on excessive risk, right? It's the easiest trap, because the easiest way to make money in the market is to take on excess risk. Do things that other people don't want to do. So, having a stop twice as large as your target, yeah, you can make money doing that. At least on a short time frame, you can, because there is money in taking on risk. But unless you have an edge that allows you to manage that risk and to overcome the bad times, you're just going to get screwed. right? This is why you get these guys that, they do good most of the time, but then every week or so, they have this huge drawdown. Volume and price. I mean, volume and price are good things to look at, but there is a lot more information out there than just volume and price. And if all you look at is volume and price, you're not going to get a complete picture. You're not. And there's going to be a lot of things that you're going to miss. So I'll tell you, one of the things that I find really interesting lately is Zero Hedge will post a lot of stuff about things that funds are doing. Like, these are like strategies that quants and hedge funds and so forth are taking advantage of. And there's really smart analysts that have developed all sorts of models to describe how those systems are going to behave. So, for instance, that's why they were saying CTAs are probably going to end up covering this week in the treasuries, because they can go through that model and see how it works, right? And then you can go in and you can try using those ideas and like back testing a strategy to try and take advantage of that. It's debilitating too with large stop outs. The stop out hurts way more than the pleasure derived from the target hit. Yeah. Well, and the thing that bothers me about it, and has always bothered me about it, is that it's deceptive to yourself. It deceives you. You think that you're predicting things when you really are not, right? The winning that you get is primarily from the stop that you have. So if you're doing well, how would you know? How would you know? Yeah. Well, you don't get prepared for it. Certainly, if you're trading a strategy that's more like 2-to-1 risk reward and you're only winning like 40% of the time, then you're used to having losers, and sure. Wait, how can you see that, bots? It was actually Wazuzi was the one that worked the ban button, but all wrenches can see what wrenches do. Well, the Treasury came back there pretty good a little bit, but it still seems to be having some support. Man, Azure sounds very upset. Oh, you just scrolled back in chat. Yeah. We're some sort of spam group tried to hit our channel. I don't know if, yeah, Uzi thinks it was Salim. It does kind of seem like maybe it was, but the thing is that there was a couple of people pumping other stuff, so how often does your bots get market information updates? Have you ever timed the whole stack market update, analyze act result, any optimization opportunities? This is a good question, Robert. So, yes, I have actually. So I've gone through and I just put print updates in there. I would just say, okay, here was the time when one thing happened and here's the time when the next thing happened, to see how long it took to get from, data coming in to actually taking a trade. And the problem that I've found with doing that is that under normal circumstances, it's instant. Like, it's so fast that your computer can't really measure it. It's less than milliseconds, right? But when the markets start to get wild, that's when it can increase, right? So the clustering effect of markets is such that 99% of the time, you're going to be fine, right? But it's like that 1% that actually matters when having the really nice computer or whatever matters. Now, on my side, I think that some of the things like having too many tick replay indicators on the screen are kind of where you can have problems. So I kind of work it from that perspective. My idea was that the market update speed would probably be slow compared to the echo. Well, like, so let's just say, for instance, that your strategy works on 1 tick data. Well, that's going to slow it down considerably. Right? So, because that means that you're running through your algorithm every tick. I worked with a large Swedish. Oh, yeah. Well, so when I worked for Goldman, one of the things that I did was worked with their timing system that they used to time their performance of all of their systems. Because you could go in and you could look at any one individual order and see how long it took from when it came in to when it came out. And it's so fast that they literally have to use microseconds, which in order to time on microseconds requires special hardware. And at that level, clock jitter, which is there's inconsistency in how your processor handles time. Clock jitter matters. So you have to like time everything up against a master machine and measure the jitter between the two of them and measure the network latency between them and use that information to calculate how long it actually took to get through. What do you think of the Flash Crash Trader and a vendor SAR? We've been around when you've been around when we've talked about that before, right? Big Toasty. I would like to know, pick his head, because I want to know like what his edges were, or see what you can get from him. But it seems to me that his strategy stopped working, that the robots were faster. Hey, we're doing okay. We got a runner going on here in the treasury. It looks like it's kind of flattening out a little bit. The equities are kind of pulling back a little bit for us. I'm wondering I might be able to take one now, even though I know it's close to the open. Yep. Okay. What's that sound that keeps? Are you talking about the little click? There's a click that occurs every time a large limit order changes. So especially if you hear a bunch of clicks all at the same time, that kind of tells you something's going on, right? And you'll often notice that price will have moved a little bit because those orders were canceling or adding on or whatever it was. So when that happens, look over at the far left of my screen and then you'll see it, right? Somebody added an offer at 38.4350, 100 lot. That's why it moved. That's why it clicked. U.S. Treasury Secretary Yellen, the stimulus bill will help hundreds of millions of people. Okay. She's all in on help the party. Do you think we'll be in red or green overall till the end of the week? That's I can't see that far ahead. I don't think. Well, I am still concerned for the tech stocks, though. I'm still concerned for the tech stocks. I'll say that. Week can end red, so be on alert. I think it's a possibility. Yeah. I mean, most weeks I would just be like, oh, we'll probably be up because we're up every week, right? But there's a couple of things that we gotta be careful about. I have to say, based off of the start here, and of course the S&P 500 hasn't opened up yet, but based on the way this is starting out, I think that probably we will end the week higher. How can you track that limit order move, and is it available on CQG? So what I do is, well, you have to track your own order book, and then when there's a change, you just see how large the change was. You can do it on CQG, but remember that you're limited on the number of depths, number of levels of depth you can see. There are some really big orders that change really far away that you're not going to see with CQG, but you will see with Rhythmic. It will still work. It's just, so at that point, you kind of have to wonder, okay, how far away of an order do I not care about anymore? Those large orders that are really far out, I'm not filtering on them here, but they can actually kind of tell you which direction things are going, believe it or not. Can you imagine if he had put that energy into trading, right? That was a good trade. I don't think that ever went against me. I should probably have let it run, but I wonder if YouTube will. It's so did you report any of them as spam? Because I think YouTube should be getting them. I guess I should go in and look into it says 77 likes. Really? I only see the positive ones, and we're really high today, actually. For this early in the session, 17 is really good. So thank you guys. Every time I think about what can I do to help the stream, what helps the community out the most, because there's that dichotomy between trading your own strategy and learning, and you don't want to share your strategy with everybody, and building a community, because it's really difficult to do this all on your own, right? And it always comes back to that the thing that matters the most is just me focusing on becoming the best trader that I can and making good content. And it's been working. Like on TikTok, I was giving up on TikTok, man. Was like, this is so dumb. And then I kind of figured out the formula, and I've been doing really well on TikTok. Now 21 likes. Thank you guys. See, a 50% of the people that come in and watch the video hit the like button. That's a crazy, insane interaction ratio. It really does speak to that the people that watch the stream that are the target audience really enjoy it and are very engaged. So thank you. Oh, it's the 8th. You're right. I didn't change the thing. See, where would we be? You see where we are when Win isn't around in the early, like right when the stream starts to remind me to change the day. We do enjoy the streams. Thanks. I do need to make some more. We do have some videos coming. I think that I have all of this stuff now. It's not the best microphone, but it'll do. But I have the stuff now to do the Nirvana video. So I think that the next one I'm going to try to do is Nirvana. Do you look at seasonalities? Yes, absolutely. Maybe not as much as I should, but seasonality is so important. Do you know that for market making algorithms, like the big boy ones, that not only do they, so they look at the flow that's coming in, and the thing that the humans can't do, that the robot does, that is part of what makes it so effective, is that the robot has all of this historical information about the seasonal tendencies of things and factors that in. So seasonality matter? Yeah, it really matters. Japan might start buying US treasuries again? Yeah. Well, that was the first thing that kind of got me going, oh, maybe we should buy it. Well, the first thing was they were saying CTAs were going to cover. But then you're right. Because the US yield has been doing better, those Japanese investors are going to come in and buy it. And remember last time that was happening, right? It was good. Well, it was good for the treasuries. It was good for the dollar. It led to some dollar strength. I wonder if we're going to continue seeing that dollar strength or not. You say futures didn't really mean it. Well, they sold it on the open, yeah. Is that what you were getting at? They sold it. They sure sold it. So Gabby took some trades, and I don't think that she should have. I need to go back and look at that again because I don't think it should have taken those trades. Brandon took a long and made some money. Oof. And Joseph was doing really good too until this sell here. Well, are we getting what we had on Friday where it's like they open from the open until the London close, it just sells? That's what happened on Friday. And I don't know what that thing on Friday. Yeah, sorry, Rick. I was talking about my algos. Yeah. So Gabby took one trade that I don't think she should have. So Gabby's supposed to take it when you hear that sound. But well, she puts limit orders out when you hear that sound. So she took one, and I don't know where it was coming from. Maybe it was a limit order from the overnight session lingering around. Maybe I need to change Gabby to use a different session template because I don't want her to take trades off of those. Yeah, almost that. Certainly has to be it. But yeah, I give them all names. Do you agree on the idea that if large orders are put away from price, that's market makers expecting liquidity shifts up or down, i.e. market makers put a large sell orders 20 points up, they think market's going to rotate up? I'm not sure that those are market makers, no. So if you're a market maker and you're doing that sort of a thing, you would have them on both sides. But more so than that, whether the market moves towards or away from large orders is something that shifts. And I'm not exactly sure why or what the patterns there may be in that, but I can tell you that how they react to liquidity changes over time. Especially in the treasuries. Yeah, it's a pretty hard sell, but I mean, we came back up. We had moved up a good 30 points ahead of the open. 10 points while we were just sitting here. With the way that it's trading, you know, that action on Friday wasn't particularly good for me. So I would prefer to stay out. You know, just thinking about it a little bit more, Kyle. Generally, you would those large orders aren't the most. They seem really influential because they stand out to you, but they might not necessarily be the most important thing for you to be looking at. Yeah, so many order flow teachers are like 5 years late saying market reacts to large bids up and large ask down. But what I've been watching, and it's more interesting, is how it seeks those orders. Yeah, well, so I certainly noticed that if a big order gets placed pretty close to current price, it will get filled. Yeah, almost always. But it really is a thing where it's like, I think that order flow teachers will tend to focus on that simply because it's easy to point out. Everybody can see it, you know, because the things that I find are the most influential, like the polling, that stuff's really hard to see, you know. So they don't talk about the polling as much, but the polling dynamic is, I think, the most important dynamic. Like, that's the whole setup of how those robots work. Polling their orders is a really critical component of it. People definitely rotating into safe stocks. Well, I still, you got to wonder, on Friday, okay, from the open until the London close, it sold, and it was like crazy strong selling. And then when that was over, that was nothing but buying, and they went and they bought back into high of the day, right? That suggests that some fund or someone of that nature is doing something. You know what I mean? That yeah, somebody was rotating, and then when it was over, the market was like, oh, okay, it's done, we can go back up. So if they're coming in again today, if that's persistent, then I've got to wonder what's going on. Now, part of it was we were saying, oh, maybe it was Arc, right? There was the Arc-Mageddon. But I don't think that the Arc-Mageddon wasn't sufficient enough explanation for it. Well, let's come in and look at what they're doing right now. Okay, so Tesla is opening about where it closed. In fact, most markets seem to be in a normal place, except for GameStop, which is up 10%. There was some announcements in GameStop, so that's why that one fixes up 5%. Okay. Well, while that's going on, oh yeah, I have this little thing. I have this huge mess behind me, but I didn't show you guys why. I'll go and I'll plug it in. Huh? Huh? Can you see it? Can you see it? Well, now I'm in the way. Oh, it shows up on stream really well, too. So, soldering is hard. That basically took me all Friday and Sunday to figure that out, to get it to work. Let's move it a little bit up so you can see. That's a little better. It says, Seth is really nice and I like him. Yeah. So there's still quite a bit I need to do. I actually think I got the wrong LED strips because the space between them is way further than I think it should be. All right, Treasury's pushing back down again. Maybe part of why they sold, but you know what? Some of that open may just be the normal head fake. Man, Asher is really unhappy today. What's his deal? Anyways, so I think I need to get a slightly different LEDs that'll make it a little bit easier to read. And then I need to find something to mount it to. But it was a lot easier than I thought. I was like, I should have done this months ago. Okay, so there's some absorption there at 58. Treasury's getting pushing down again. Anyways, I think we'll put it over my head, like right here. saying market bounced off VWAP. It looks pretty strong. I mean, the selling was a little crazy. We recovered it. So I got my second one in there. Now our treasury trade we gave a lot back, didn't we? Oh man, Jay is active here. And which version of him is better is difficult to know. I could also put it underneath of the chalkboard there. This looks like it would be good for another long. There's still quite a bit trading through there in the 59 area. And how are they rotating here? Tesla's up 3%. So if Tesla gets above 620, their sellers. Well, there is a lot of volume. I don't know if it's active selling or not, but I'm coming into my sleepy period. I feel so sleepy. Oh. Wake up, Seth. Well, that baby is so unhappy. Oh, I have something else to show you. I got something else to show you. It was a crazy weekend, all right? I don't want to I mean, it made two good trades. I don't want to mess it up. And I want to just let this treasury one, because this is kind of more of a market making swing. I want to market make it to enter, but then I want to swing it. That's why I'm taking on pretty excessive risk here for it. But we're right back. I'll show you something else. Do you see it? No, it's a chicken. It's a black chicken. It's a fluffy chicken. It's a fluffy. It's the kind of breed it is. I don't want to hold him too long. I'll hold him for another 30 seconds. Oh, he just pooped on me. And then I should go put him back. We're pulling back. We're back below the open. All right, let's go put him back. I bet that chicken can beat the S&P 500. Could be. I want to eventually do videos with them. It's the feathered reserve is what they are. And we can have them try and project interest rates. U.S. equities whipsaw dramatically at cash open. Yeah. I don't know if it's, that it's kind of weird to me. I don't know. That first move down looked like really big, but then it's coming back and I'm like, well, it does that all the time though. And I'm not sure what's going on here. It's a lot of volume, that's for sure. Well, it's a long range. It's like 10 points up and down on the open. That is a lot. Cat dev / random chicken. No, we'll get put food out and in 2 dishes and see what their projections are. Right? No, let's get me back in focus here. Man, I'm getting some gray hairs in that beard, I think. First, I thought, no, it's just blonde. All my hair is blonde. It's fine. No, I think some of it is gray. You check liquidity for me again? Oh, sure. Let's look. The Treasury's selling off there. I'm wondering, then the E-mini just whipsawing around. Pretty crazy. some of my robot, I think net profitable this morning, but some of them definitely lost some of their gains that they had made before the open. Okay, March. Let's see here. You wanted 183. Holy crap. 183. Well, that's really far away. Hold on, I have to increase the number of depth that we're getting. One 1830. There is large depth at 1830. 314 lots are sitting there. That's a lot. $18.40. And nothing. There's a little bit at 18,330, but 18330. Well, what's going on here in the E-mini is getting kind of weird. So there was a gap there. Looks like two of my robots stopped out on that gap too. They both took the same trade. Well, J2 is doing better overall though. Greensill Capital files for administration in the UK. What does that mean? Move could pave way for U.S. private equity group to buy parts of the business. Greensill Capital has filed for administration in the latest stage of the unraveling of a SoftBank company that had sought $7 billion valuation. Lawyers appeared before UK court on Monday in a move that potentially paves the way for U.S. investor Apollo Global Management to buy some parts of the ailing finances group's business. Okay, so this is a SoftBank thing. Why does Zero Hedge say Q Europe selling? The CDC director will announce guidelines for what vaccinated people can do during the White House coronavirus briefing meeting at 11 a.m. So in an hour. We might be here for that. So we can complain about how stupid it is. I bet you that I'm going to have a problem with it. Hard flushing. I don't know what's going on here. Something's on. Watch Tesla. Everybody is scared to buy it. Well, it swung back really hard, didn't it? Look at that. Can we get it back to a 5-minute chart? It's moving dramatically along with everybody else. ARK is down 1%. Silver's down. We've seen the dollar move up? Not really. Yellen, don't expect undesirable levels of inflation, yeah. I don't think that's what people are concerned about. Yeah, I was seeing the other day some people saying like, no, we don't believe the Federal Reserve. But I don't see any signs of that in the market action. Okay, so we do get some numbers coming up here. Pretty. Well, we're getting 1.3 versus an estimated 1.3. I wonder if people know what is going to happen at this 9 o'clock meeting. Will the restrictions on vaccinated people be higher than anticipated? If you had $300 to throw, would you throw it at AMP or Lilo? I would throw it at AMP, but because there's the thing with that much, you could get almost a year's worth of data on AMP. I forget, what does Lilu have? Lilu trading, blah, blah, blah. I looked at this the other day and I was like, why would you do that? Life without limits. Oh, I see. They have a really wide... They really let you load up if you want. $2,000 micro target, and still, that's right. You know, if I could trade micros and their target was like 300, then maybe I would do it. But it's funny that they're like, oh yeah, we'll let you trade micros, but then the target is the same. David Tepper is getting bullish on stocks and believes rising rates are set to stabilize, says CNBC. Tepper says very difficult to be bearish on stocks right now and thinks the sell-off in treasuries has driven rates higher is likely over. Okay. Sure thing, boss. So not working out today. Target restrictions are well, I'm wondering, so they're saying that if you've been vaccinated, they're going to tell you what you can and cannot do now that you're vaccinated. And what is that plan going to look like? And I'm wondering if it's going to be basically that even though you've been vaccinated, you still can't do anything. Choppy. 2 years ago you wouldn't be moaning with this action. Well, I probably should be trading it. I mean, looks certainly some opportunity in here, isn't there? But it's not that. It's like excessive volume and chop when I'm not expecting it is kind of like, if I understood why, I'd be all over it, right? It's crazy. It is. Remember when moving 4 points in a day was a lot? Oh, man. This is so long ago. Like when Ace first came in and 2 points, I was like, oh, okay. 2 points I guess is okay. I'm looking here. My J robot takes 16 targets and stops, and I'm wondering if I should narrow that down. I can't transfer money to AMP. They don't have TransferWise. I always mail them a check. What? The ES looks like old and yeah, right. Like I remember when the size of my E-mini DOM was the same as my other DOMs, and then and then the volatility came in and was like, well, we're gonna have to change it. And then it was like, well, we'll change it back when things don't get as volatile. You remember that? AMP to ACH. Yeah, but don't they charge you like an extra fee if you do that? I always just mail the check because then they don't charge you. The check is free. Okay, they're above open again? Yes, sir. Well, if I had taken a trade, I would have been long, but I don't know what's going on, so it's probably still a crapshoot for me. Let's see here. Tesla turned positive on the day again. ARK still down 0.5%. GameStop up 11% today. Buzz up 0.5%. Meghan Kelly torches Prince Harry. Why am I seeing so much on my feed about Prince Harry and Meghan? I don't care. Should I care? I don't get it. We're back to happy days again? I don't know about that. I would prefer it to be a little bit less volatile. Just one step down below this is fine. Or, there can be volatility. As long as I know why it's doing that, I'm okay with it. The AI says you do? Wait, what? They gotta break the high of the regular session? Oh, it would be the high of the day. They're gonna break the high of the day? Oof. It looks like they got some oof behind it. Shoving around. It's RKT doing its thing. We didn't have that on here. We should add that one. Oops. Edit watch list. RKT is one where you're really starting to get into like funny stuff, funny business. Because that one really is going because of a short squeeze. MSTR up 3% today, by the way. Speaking of... Oh, yeah, both GameStop and RKT are up 10%. GameStop has a reason to be up today, though. There's some news, some changes in the company structure. They got a guy to do a thing to do their online business. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, the AI says you do. When you were talking about the royal couple. But they had a horrible life in London. I wonder, it seems to me that the reason, I don't know, I don't. It seems like it's political to me, but I don't know what the story is. It's just the way that it pops up and the way that it does suggests a political thing to me. Like a Democrat versus Republican kind of political thing. Republican Roy Blunt won't seek re-election. Okay. I hope they go broke. What? He got what he deserves. He could have had. What do you mean? What's wrong with her? Other than that she's super liberal. I read a story that they were... Is she well, she's not black, is she? Nah. Oh, we're talking about Megan. Wait, that's not them. That's it. Yeah, them right there. Is she black? She's half black. Oh, okay, whatever. Whatever. Maybe the royal family is racist. Maybe that's what it is. Racism would be another fitting. Yeah. This is the first, they've been around for a while now. Like, I remember when they got married and everybody was excited for them getting married and all that stuff. And this is the first time that I've ever seen her referred to as she. I mean, she looks like a white girl to me, like a darker skin, but I'm not talking about her race. She went golden. Whatever. I don't think we could ever know enough about her to say, okay, so let's do it. Now I'm reading it. See, this is how it works, is they put it in the algorithm. Now I'm reading it because I really don't care. But it keeps popping up so much, I feel like I have to know what's going on. In her first public comment since she and her husband Prince Harry announced their plans to step back from senior roles in the British royal family, Meghan described herself as the victim of an image-obsessed Buckingham Palace, which weighed in on everything from how dark her son Archie's skin color would be to how often she went to front lunch with friends. Well, they should be concerned about appearances because their whole job is PR, right? An American former actress said she was forced to suppress her outspoken nature and give up her personal freedom, yeah? She said she did not have access to her passport, driver's... Okay, yeah, well... Listen, if I got married to somebody in the royal family... Hey, let's just pretend for a moment that I'm a girl, but I would say all of the same things that normal Seth would say, but I was born a female, and I was marrying Prince Harry, I would probably have a hard time, don't you think? I would have a hard time. I'm not made up, but that's your job. That's their job. You're the PR for the country. Marry up and trade more. That's what I should have done. I should have married a millionaire. Just needed to wait for the right chance to marry Lindsay Sterling, and then we could be rich. Okay. I appreciate the offer, but my heart belongs to somebody else. He totally misread that, but on purpose. But this is funny, hilarious. The most powerful portions of the 2-hour interview came when Meghan discussed the difficulties of her life as a royal. Driver's license or keys after she joined the royal family, and they were only returned when the couple moved away. Wow, because they weren't allowed to go anywhere? The situation was exacerbated by often raises outdated colonial undertones. She was considering suicide. There is a culture of suffering and silence in the royal family. Yeah. You know what? I mean, I'm kind of reading this and I'm kind of siding with the royal family, even though the royal family probably did have some things that they held them to which were wrong. What was her name? Meghan. You know, just search for it. It'll probably be like the first result. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. Oh, yes, and that she lives in Southern California. That's right. If anyone has thoughts of anything that I like, please get some help if you're a trader devil. Well, certainly if you're having those thoughts, somebody should be aware at the very least. I'm not going to say that every time that you have suicidal idealizations that it's like a huge deal per se, because I think that kind of gets people into this mode of that they're even thinking about that it's like a bad thing. I think that it's probably a normal thing for a person to think about at least once in their life, but you should realize that sometimes when you get those thoughts, they're not natural or under your control. Like, they could be influenced by medications you have and things like that. And so you should talk to people about it at the very least, so that they're aware of what's going on and they can watch and sound the alarm if you actually are going over the deep end, Doria Ragland. Okay. Her mother is black for sure. That's the girl doesn't look. I would never have guessed. I never heard her referred to in that way. You sure have a strong opinion about it. But you know what? Never say black. Well, I wasn't. I don't know how else to put it. There are some people that are more racially ambiguous than others. Let's say, which is to mean that I might not have necessarily known just from looking at them. So for her, there's no way that I would have known just from looking at her. But maybe that's because the way they touch the photos up, you might not recognize her skin color at first. There she is right there. That's her mom. The reason why I was wondering was because she doesn't there's like the skin color, but none of her facial features are characteristic of African genes, right? I know that's so weird. Like, is it like you're not allowed to talk about that sort of stuff? But you know what I'm saying. I would have. I can kind of see they got the mouth. She's got her smile at least. Maybe the eyes a little bit. Let's see the father. I think you're overly sensitive, Ace. We're not allowed to talk about people's physical features. Come on. Oh, I don't really see. Huh. I don't really see the resemblance necessarily between her and either of her parents. She definitely looks different. That picture is probably not. That looks like touched up and a lot of makeup. That might not be what she looks like very well. See that picture. That one, can I get a bigger version of it? That one, they look more. I can see the resemblance. Eyebrows. Probably the nose is from dad. The nose is more from dad. Why don't we talk about big butts? Well, she doesn't really have a big butt. Why are you trying to change the subject? Hey, good deal. I believed in you, treasuries. What I've been finding when I've been doing this in the treasuries for a while is that if I was able to add quite a bit of risk, I can... Generally, it's very rare that I get the move outright wrong in the treasury, but trying to identify the exact tick or two that it will turn, that I think was a large part of what was killing me in treasuries. Mighty says I'm probably the only black. I don't think you're the only one, but the only takeaway that I got from that was that she married into the royal family, and then she didn't actually want to do any of the things or live the life that the royals live. Like, come on, girl, you realize that like their whole existence is premised on that family being good at doing this one thing, which it used to be running the whole country, but now it's basically being a PR head of state. Like the whole thing is that family is the PR head of state for the country, right? And she married in and eventually, immediately didn't want to do any of the things. This time YouTube can... No, she can't. What is it? Oh, YouTube's gonna shut down the channel because I said I don't see the resemblance between her and her mother in that particular picture. Okay, guys, stop being ridiculous. You say it's cringy, but this is where I think that our society has taken things. We go so far where it's like even the mere mention of skin tone is like, oh, we're treading on, gotta be careful. Like, you can't even talk about how people look. Greg saying MBO not sure how it changes my dumb read. Anyways, I didn't say anything wrong or false. And I'm not going to, tiptoe around. I think that people need to be allowed to talk about things, even if it's something that's sensitive, as long and, save the outrage for when they actually say something harmful. Like if you went and you made a stereotype about the way that a certain group of people behave, then that would be a different thing. Right? So here's the thing, Greg, on the market by order data. I think that there could be an advantage in it. I don't think that I'm going to find that advantage just from looking at it. You know what I mean? But it would depend on how it's aggregated out. The thing that I want to see is if I see orders cancel, how long had those orders been there for? Like if there are orders that had been there since the beginning and they cancel, that's kind of more what I care about. Right? That's where I think I'm looking for indications that market makers are pulling their orders because of the flow that they're seeing in. Like at what point do they see, okay, there's buying coming in, it's not a big deal, it's not a big deal. Oh wait, now it's a big deal. That's the thing that I'm looking for. So there was a new high. Things have calmed down. I got 3 positive trades in the E-mini. I don't know how I managed that because none of them really went against me per se. That one, that last one said MFE of 9, but it had to have gotten 16 for me to get filled. But that one was a good trade. J2 definitely is performing better than J. Although with them both trading equal risk reward, it doesn't look so good. I wonder with this one, strategy performance real time. It's not like he's underperforming. I mean, he's taking a lot of trades. 24 trades is a lot, and we can filter that out, right? People always talk about spoofing. I'm not so sure there are many spoofs. Well, the kind of spoofing that like caused the flash crash, no, but I think what people are really talking about is these algorithms that trade like the inside 2 or 3 levels, you know, and they'll place orders and cancel them on a whim, and it's a little annoying. Greg says, I'm seeing big but very fast shifts in the ZB DOM, then large price moves. Okay. The 2000s or the speed bumps in the 10-year. I watched the entire interview. It was 100% to 0 the Palace fault. The Over tried to lead them into accepting some blame, not one iota. Everyone knows a family squabble is never 100%. Greg, yep, on the inside, 2 to 3 levels. Yeah. Because when people are talking about spoofing, what they're really complaining about are the catching the edge robots, right? So there are robots that, you know, if they think that it's a sell overall and they see that there's only 500 lots on there, then they sell into it. And you can see like there must be some edge to it, because you will see guys go in and put icebergs there and like get big fills on those guys all of the time. And it's just like the number of orders that will hit into it at this spot. Like it can't go below 500 without somebody trying to hit it. You can see it right now, right? So they'll sell it and then it'll go down, and then they'll like, it doesn't immediately tick again. Like they get out. Like this sort of thing happens all the time. Like they only want like one tick and they're just trying to catch the edge. And so that they say you could say spoofing, but really it's like you put your limit order out there, but a lot of the time you cancel the limit order, and it's just a part of the strategy and they allow it, right? Versus spoofing, where it was like they're intentionally putting out a ton of orders out there or a big order out there to intentionally deceive the market and make something happen. It's very different. You know what I mean? But the thing is that another thing is there's the alligators, right? So there is a group of robots that, based on certain things, will bid at 30 half, specifically because they don't think it's going to execute. So they just pulled there. But there's going to be like 1,000 or so here. Like if we get to 2,000, there's like 1,000 or so of that doesn't actually necessarily want to be taken. They're only putting those out there in case at some future date they want to take it and they want to make sure they have a good spot in the queue, right? So basically there's these robots that save your place in line. And then you as the trader, you can discretionarily say, okay, I want to execute that or I don't. And if you don't say that you want to execute it, then when it's about to get hit, it pulls it immediately. That's why, like, if we were to tick down, there would immediately be like a couple hundred lots that would pull off of 30 always, right? So then the question is, with the MBO data, when those pull, how long have they been on there for, right? What about the guys that have had bids out there since they were allowed to put orders in on Sunday morning, right? Is that an order there, and now all of a sudden that guy doesn't want to be executed there? Or it's more than one tick away and they cancel it because he's seeing the flow? Like, that's what I'm wondering. You got what I mean? Because with the market by order data, you can see like how long they've been in there for. Or another thing is, like, if there's a big level like 27.5, how long has it actually been there for? MBO is market by order data. Another thing that I would be interested in doing with market by order data is that with market by order data, you can get more accurate cumulative delta because you actively know what executed and what didn't, and which directions they were, because you can match up which orders got filled. So I want to know, how different are they? Do you ever get a point where the MBO cumulative delta is significantly different from the market cumulative delta, or honest, it probably would be more like a specific bar? And can we derive an edge from that? That's another question. But the one that I really want to do is track stop orders and see if stop orders have a different execution impact than regular orders. Because I don't know if that's ever been studied. If I search, you can come over here. Where is did I close the whole window? I closed the whole window. So I could be getting, financial juice updates and I would have missed it. Yeah. So if I come here and I go to Scholar.google, impact of stop orders. Market impact of stop orders. Market versus limit orders. Oh, well, this one would be interesting to read no matter what. A practical guide to using stop orders for traders, and I don't know, on the efficacy of stop loss strategy. So that might be interesting. Every time I search for one of these, I always get a couple of articles that I think are interesting. But see, I don't see one that's specifically about how does a stop order affect the market. So it's unclear. Check Discord. Where? In the lobby? No. Interest rates? Yeah, I see. At 131.29. Oh, yeah. No, I can show that one too. Do you see it in the upper left? So I can see when it happened, there was no order. They added a bid at 29.5. Then they pulled 1,000. And then they added 2,000. And you can see that. You can kind of see those without MBO. But then the question is like, where are they at on the queue? Or like, what if you weren't around to see it? You should be able to use the MBO to see when it was added. So evidence on order submission strategy. That's probably not. This one's more interesting. We find these simplistic stop losses to be ineffective and generally detrimental to long-term performance. covered op and find. I don't know what I would be able to, if I was working there right now, what I would be able to learn that I don't know. Like, here's the thing. There was never anything that I ever saw when I was working there that led me to believe that you can be successful day trading as a retail trader. You know what I mean? Like, the market makers would probably actively tell you that, like, what they do is very different from day trading as a retail trader, in that it's pretty hard. They have a different advantage, you know? Do I have to log in? Let's see if I can find a better source for it. Paste. On the efficacy of stop loss strategies. The Journal of Wait, there's a Journal of Trading? That's the one that I just clicked. Well, now that's different, because that's a journal that I haven't found before. Oh wait, PDF? No. They want me to log in. How much is it? Request a demo? Oh, portfolio management research. So this is more of like the journal look of it. Okay, well. He posted it in the interest rates channel. Just the thing that they state there, that using a simplistic stop loss is ineffective and generally detrimental to long-term performance, seems like makes a lot of sense to me. Makes a lot of sense to me. Oh, I was like, do I need to think about taking this off? But no, it's only 8:42. Whew. How do I register on this one? Log in. Invalid. No. The Journal of Trading. Wait, there's a... Oh. The Journal of Trading has been archived. You can still discover the research. Oh, that's why, because it doesn't exist anymore. Fine. Request a demo. Request a demo. What should I put in there? Oh, I shouldn't put that. Wait, hold on. I gotta put that's the wrong one. I don't want to go to that email. Okay. Is it that one? Says this field is required. Email, please use the corporate. Oh. See if it'll take that one. Yeah, I guess I can't get in. Harry is a simp. Why are you calling Harry a simp? Let me enlighten you guys on what a simp is, because this word has become a cultural flashpoint issue, and so the original point of the term has been distorted. I was starting with NinjaTrader, saw your videos, wondering if you can recommend a good tutorial. So I have a bunch of stuff about programming. If you are just using NinjaTrader, I would go and read their documentation. It's really great. I think that someone using such an abbreviation is a simp. Okay, so what simp means is someone idolizing mediocre pussy. So the reason that they started using that term was it was meant to imply that a person was so desperate for female attention that they would do anything for any female's attention, including giving attention to people that were taking advantage of them. And that's really what the term was originally supposed to be about, was these guys were giving women on the internet money when those, because they felt like they had some sort of a connection with the woman, when in reality, the woman just wants the money. Now, I think most people now kind of, especially with the OnlyFans thing coming through, I think people have realized that like it's kind of a business and it's kind of almost turned into like virtual strip clubs, But that's where the phrase originally came from. But then people came in and they're like, oh, it's bad to be respectful to women. Like, no, that's not why they were originally using the term. So now it's kind of become this thing. So much so that like talking about it on Twitch would get you in trouble at one point. I'm coding. I looked at the documentation. Yeah, so I have some videos on the channel to get you started with like the most important functions that you need to know. And once you see that stuff, like you should be golden. E-Mini getting a little bit of selling again. So you mean if I have a lot of cash, I can get a girlfriend? No, but what you can get is you can get somebody that will regularly talk to you online, and you could pretend as your girlfriend. Do you know how to setting up the volume stop on Jigsaw? Yes, sir. So if we come in here, I'm trading this on a sim account, so you can see here is the little control. So if you push the $sign on the DOM, you get this control that pops up. And this little number right here says SV, and there's this little number right here. So see how I have 433 in it? I always put a random weird number in. And then if I change this to SL, so if I put in a stop limit at an order at a price right here, for instance, 26.5, now do you see how it says 1? Well, you can't see it because the 1 is kind of covered, but SL, stop limit, at volume 433. And that's how you use the volume stop on Jigsaw. A timeshare geisha, is that what it is? Well, so I kind of want to try it out. Not like with a, if I could find, not like I want to try out an OnlyFans girlfriend, because I have a wife and she fills that role just spectacularly, let me tell you what. But what I do feel like sometimes is that during this pandemic that there's not really, you you don't get to talk to people on a regular basis. There's not people that are like obligated to talk to you because you're close. Maybe obligated is the wrong word, but you know what I mean? Like there are people that because you're in the same area, you're going to talk to regularly, you know? And if we lived in a small town, there would be all of the people that you would know and you would talk to, and you don't have that on with the new online world. There's not like a proximity group, right? There's not a group of people that you end up being with just because, right? And so for me, it's like my social group now becomes my gym and you guys. And sometimes you're not around all the time, right? So sometimes I wish that there was just somebody that would randomly text and it was their job to act excited and want to talk to me. And that's what you get on OnlyFans. You know what I mean? In fact, heck, I would do that. I should start an OnlyFans. And if you're on my OnlyFans, you can come and talk to me anytime you want. That's what it should be. You know what I mean? Except for maybe if I was going to pay for that specific thing, I should be paying somebody that is like good at it. Right? But that's the thing that is apparently makes OnlyFans unique and is different. And I say, if you could harness this for regular people and not be associated with porn, like, you got a business right there, man. Maybe, I don't know how you do. It'd be like an online non-professional therapist of sorts, right? They're just there to be friends. But then the problem with that is that then you get too many clients and you can't actually spend all of the time that you really actually want. Because then it's like, hey, you know what? Like, come and play Minecraft with me or whatever it is. Like, with the way that the internet's gone, it kind of becomes harder and harder. You really have to go out of your way to get to, like, play games with people and stuff. I never really did that in Overwatch. I should have. Oh, well. Another question on NinjaTrader. Can it trade multiple securities at the same time? So it doesn't have a market scanner, no. But it does have... what you would really like is probably the market analyzer. So like we could just add this one. Okay, so here's all of the index futures, right? So you can have all of these. And then I think you can even add columns to like buy and sell. Right? There's a notes column. That's not what I want. Average daily volume, beta bit, chart. Maybe not. I thought that there was a one that but I think you can right click on them and say send to, and then you could make like a, basic entry, for instance, and then you can trade it. And you can definitely have positions in multiple things at the same time. But you got to realize that for futures, that like scanning doesn't really, there's only like a few dozen things that you're going to be looking at in futures. And you're going to know what they are, and you don't need to scan. You watch the whole space every day. Whereas in stocks, you're scanning for thousands for a particular technical setup and yada, yada, yada. It's a different thing. If you leave the royal family for a girl, you got to be a simp. Well, I don't think that's fair at all, because she's not. Well, first of all, the whole thing was that they were supposed to be mediocre, and I'm not saying that somebody should be treated differently based on whether they're good looking or not. I'm only saying that to point out that she is very good looking. And number two, she's not just like trying to take advantage of somebody. She's not just there. I mean, I guess I don't know their relationship, but, you know, they have an exclusive relationship. Like, she's giving something back. So I don't think that it's appropriate to use the word simp there. What if I connect it to IB or eSignal or IQ? Well, yeah, then you could do your scanning in IB, sure. I guess the thing is that if scanning for stocks and stuff like that is your thing, NinjaTrader's probably not your platform. Maybe at some point in the future, but not right now. Well, the Treasury made a pretty good recovery there. Still kind of struggling here. In fact, I'm seriously thinking about just closing it. I should have taken both contracts off there. Yeah, let's move this back over here and change it back to auto. I should have taken that one right there. Will the market? Who knows? Today is too far of a time frame for me to really make an accurate prediction. At least today it is. I'm going to say probably not. Probably the day is going to close positive, but a roaring kitty, he tweeted something. What did he tweet? A video of somebody playing Super Mario 3 with Mario as the frog suit. And he's like, what is the word? Styling on it. Oh, okay. Yeah. This is the first one, isn't it? No. This is the girl with the bow. So it's because Iggy was always the first one. Oh, he would have hit the thing if he, oh, what? And then he got an ice cream cone. Okay. Okay, I get it. Because GameStop is up today. That's why. That's what the deal is. He's on coke. I mean, he could be. It makes you wonder if he's made any moves since then. It makes you wonder. It makes me wonder, at least. That E-mini pushing up again. Kind of looks to me like maybe it wants a new high. Eric from Salt Lake City urges cities and lawmakers to find ways to respond to the housing shortage in Utah with a letter to the editor. I tell you what, I sure am glad I bought my house when I did. Yep, I think so. Fine. Okay, I'm out. I didn't take as much as I should have. I really should have gotten the 250, but that's okay. Wait, what? I did not place that many orders today. Why is it telling me that? Oh. Oh, wait, what? How's it doing that? I don't have the bridge on anymore. Oh, I know why. Because I opened up the strategy analyzer. And by default, yeah. Wrong. Market analyzer. I opened up my market analyzer. And by default, I have the JT connection. Yes, I see. So it automatically sent over to Jigsaw Bat now, but I thought that you had to turn that on. Oh, his baby size is still bothering him, I guess. I guess you don't have to turn the JT connection on. It just works, I guess. Okay. But I only took 3 trades, and the rest of these are all the robots. Just HFT robots. Well, J2 did perform better in the long run, but only slightly. Your head is so shiny? Yeah. I used to put stuff on my head to mat it out a little bit so it wasn't so reflective. But it was blacking my pores. So I gotta find something different. You can see that my thing is still going well. Let's see, is it still... I was concerned about some of the soldering connections on it, but looks like they're all good. Is GameStop up 20% now? Oh, yeah. Well, so, yeah, the issue with GameStop here is that we'll put it down here because we were watching Tesla up there, so if you come back out, you know, this is kind of like there was this wave right here and now you're getting another wave. Are they gonna beat 200? Maybe not, but there's like an excessive amount of interest in this thing and people that are looking to, I don't know, bag holders over here still. And I think that that's going to make it hard for them to ever make like a new all-time high. Lex Luthor and the Traders of Doom. No. Well, we had a discussion about that over at the consortium of bald men that secretly rule the world. But we decided collectively to not utilize that in our marketing so much. And particularly Lex Luthor, we don't want to be associated with him because that might tip people off to what we're doing. So I don't think that Lex Luthor and the Traders of Doom would be an appropriate stream title. We should start thinking about what we're going to call today's... What are we going to call today's video, though? I could say GameStop's up 20% today, and I bet you'd get tons of views, but Not necessarily the ones that we want. Well, it seems like that maybe some buying is coming into the treasuries and everything, but it is not doing it yet. Today it was mostly just trade, it looks like. You keep talking about Harry being this funny. I don't think that Harry's a simp. I think that his wife, you know, should have known what she was getting into. Yeah, you're going to be restricted. You're royalty. You realize that when you're royalty, like, your life doesn't really belong to you anymore? Like, she's older, bruh. I don't know. They not know these things in California? I mean, she's in the United States. I guess it'd be fair for her to understand. This baby's got something in his eyes. I think we need to take him in. He must have gotten into something. Hold on. I'm going to go talk to him. Let the baby know. There's something wrong with his eye. I think that she's going to have to take him to the doctor. I think that he might have scratched his eye or something. RJ will buyer remorse. Are we still talking about the royal family? I think it's only being talked about because it was on Oprah. Well, that's a pretty good bit of selling there. What? Okay, so we're getting this stuff about the CDC. I should be paying attention. Am I not getting the financial juice? I haven't heard them yet today, so I'm kind of wondering. Vaccinated people can visit indoor without masks, but must still wear them in public and avoid large gatherings when around those who aren't immunized or who are at high risk of contracting COVID-19. There's a small risk they can become infected. Retail investors are long confidence and short experience, says Zero Hedge, I bet. Came out to make an announcement beginning at 11:30 a.m. Oh, is he going to finally resign? So at this point, I'm kind of surprised that he can be. New COVID cases plateau despite surge in vaccinations. She thought it was like a Hollywood celebrity that was naive. Yeah, it seems like it. That's exactly what happened. 10-year trading at 2.91 in repo, down negative 1.9 from Friday. So there is some covering and shorting here, but maybe that's why the Treasury's kind of been pushing down, is because the repo mess is still going. Oh, yes, there we go. U.S. Treasury Secretary Yellen says the pandemic has been extremely unfair impact on women's income and employment opportunities. And Zero Hedge says it's time to digitally wire $1 trillion to the unfairly impacted women. Yes, please. My woman has been unfairly impacted, and I believe that she deserves compensation as well. Can we take a look at liquidity in ES above the high? Sure. Doesn't look anything unusual. Here's a few big orders above them. Nothing unusual. What about below the low? I can't see that far away. Yeah. You just said GameStop. Well, I wouldn't. I mean, 20%. It's still like not like. I don't. It's not enough to interest me. That's what I'm getting. I'm not going to trade it. I'm not going to trade it. And I don't regret getting out of it when I did. In fact, I think I got out of it at like 120, didn't I? So if they get to 250, then it's like, Maybe. Why is the delta on MES so different from the delta on ES? Okay, so because they're completely different instruments. So this kind of really, I think it really kind of highlights how you kind of have to question a little bit what you're looking at when you're watching order flow on ES in particular. You notice that when I take trades over in the treasury that I have a much better win rate than I do in the E-mini, right? In fact, if we come back here, let's come and look at some of my stats here and see if there's how fair they are. So if I'm just gonna look at since the beginning of the year, to March 8th. Usually, well, they're usually track close. Okay. Oh, so I have lost in the treasury. Oh, what's my win rate? 50%. If you come back and you just look at this last little bit, though, since the beginning of February, basically, which is really this whole treasury started to become crazy thing. Okay. I bet you that the win rate is super high. 70%. Yeah. But what am I doing, MFEMA? Ah, hey. Them are good stats. Except for that the number of trades is only 17, so... Okay. We're doing... Okay, so how am I able to do that? Well, because the order flow in the 10-year treasury matters a lot more than the order flow in the E-mini, right? Because here's the thing. If a Apple all of the sudden jumps 10%, and let's just say that for some odd reason the guys in the futures weren't trading off of it, the S&P, the ES futures would be worth more, right? We know that because it's based on the closing price of the index. Now, of course, people arbitrage that out, but I'm just saying it's worth more, okay? So people should buy it up to get it to equal. Well, how many contracts they have to buy in order to get it to that spot is going to differ, right? Like if there was a price difference of 2 whole points, we could go and calculate how many contracts we should purchase if we were to completely take advantage of that price discrepancy, right? But here's the thing, the number of orders placed on the ES versus the MES, like the depth is not the same, right? There's 215 lots over here. There's 160 at 171. And if this ticks up through 171, well, okay, with 3873 here, okay? If the ES ticks through 3873, MES is going to as well, right? But the MES is going to require more lots. So yeah, now that they've moved up, they moved their orders. But you get what I mean? So the cumulative delta can end up being different. Now, you could still potentially read things off of it, but this is just where you got to realize that it's a derivative. And keep that in mind, because I think that sometimes we come in and we make these conclusions in the ES like, well, based off of something happened here and something happened here, so based off of this, X thing needs to happen when we get there. Nah, not in a derivative. It doesn't have to. Doesn't have to, because the one of the individual stocks could do something and that could move it instead. So then you've really got to wonder what are you actually trading off of in the ES? Food for thought. It's different in the 10-year treasury, man. I'm sorry I'm so quiet now, but by the way, 27 likes today. Thank you guys very, very much. It's just so cool. I don't do enough to ask people to like and subscribe and all that stuff. Check out the mugs in the video description. That's another one. We haven't brought up the mugs in a while, right? You can get this Trader's Gonna Trade mug in the video description below, and they're pretty cheap. I think they're like $10-15. I'm just wondering if retail is trading the MES and pros the ES. Probably. It appears to me from my robots that there are some edges that I can get away with in the MES that I don't in the ES. That if I trade it in the MES, I get filled. And if I trade it in ES, I don't. I very much get that all the time. By the way, let's come in here and look at Jay's performance again. Since we're coming in on the close, 42%. So slightly less than random, actually. Versus this one. This one is regular Jay. Wait, Jay too took more trades than Jay? Wait, Jay only got 30% though. Huh. That's not what I expected at all. Oh, but one they're using slightly different. That one's 16, that one's 24. I'm not sure which one is which, so. They look like they should be tracking pretty similar, though. I think I want to use 24, though, or maybe even 32. 16 doesn't seem like it's enough. And how about Gabby? Gabby, no good today. Joseph made some money. Brandon gave his gains back. Unfortunate. I think there's really something to Brandon, but I think that he needs a lot more built onto him to manage to trade and so forth. I can hear those little baby birds. Cheep, 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 cheep. What if I had no transfer restriction? Oh, was that? What's this? Issuance flows are heavy with 26 announced tranches from a varied community of players. The weighting of the issuance sees the 2 and 10-year sectors seeing the heaviest issuance, 23% in each bucket. The 2-year issuance fits with treasurers attacking the sector that has performed the best amid the bear steepening curve. The 10-year sector fits with the treasuries continued to raise this week's issuance by Treasury on Wednesday. Issuance in the beaten down 5 and 7-year sectors, which is small, which is concert with the massive cheapening on the Treasury yield curve seen in the past few sessions. Issuance in the 3 and 30 sectors is low. So these sectors which see Treasury supply this week have been spared so far by Treasuries. 3-year notes, like 2-year notes, are at extreme levels on the yield curve. So issuance flows may increase in that sector. I see. So all of the corporations are trying to issue debt before the Treasury does. Where do you live? I live in Utah. I want to everything you know about trading. I want to know everything. I was going to say, I think you missed a word there, and I'm a little concerned about. Well, you want to know everything you know about trading. I'm not going to tell you everything. Sorry. There's the only thing that you need to know. Trading is competitive. Trading is like being an entrepreneur. You want to come up with new strategies, new ideas, new ways of analyzing the market that nobody else has ever thought of before. Which to find one that is actually effective is super hard because a lot of people have traded in their lives. You know what I mean? But that's what trading is about. So, of course, when I found something that tends to work, I like to keep it to myself. But I can kind of help you in the process of learning how to develop your own strategies. And that's why we have this community, so that we can all work together. I'm wondering that GameStop, if it's gonna... It doesn't look like... Well, there was that down candle right there. That what had to have been... That little tell was maybe some... options or one of those late trades, but since it wasn't completely a tail and they have gone lower, so it looks like there is some selling in there. But is it cold? Not right now. It's colder, but not really very cold. This has been quite nice, actually. I use RSI Bollinger Bands and volume and EMAs. Okay. That sounds like you're using a bunch of 40-year-old indicators. What makes you think that is going to work? Do you have any empirical evidence that suggests that any of those indicators are effective? Not saying that they're not. This is the questions that you got to ask. How are you going to have an advantage over the rest of the market? You said I'm using RSIs. RSI was invented by Welder in like 1969. So it's been around 40 years. Switzerland, it's cold. Yeah, well, it could get cold again. It warmed up so quickly. 2 weeks ago it was freezing, but this last week was great. Anyways, you're using a 40-year-old indicator. It's in every trading platform out there. So my question is, how are you going to gain an advantage with that? Because people think, oh, well, you just got to identify a pattern, and these patterns are natural to the markets, and it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way because every order has an impact. So if there was like your RSI worked, then people would trade it until RSI didn't work anymore, which is exactly what I think is going to happen, has happened. You're better off shorting into the RSI, and maybe in some situations, yes, if you see too many people trading against it and you know that it's going to go down because of news or whatever, then absolutely you trade it. Yeah. Murray math is the best indicator. I've never heard of that. So I tell you what, I've only seen Blunt a little bit today, and we haven't really attacked technical analysis. But Blunt has been saying, oh yeah, you can definitely make money using technical analysis. And I don't really know if his system has any efficacy because he hasn't told me the whole system, and I can't backtest it yet, right? And he hasn't shown me any data or his own backtests. But one thing that I will give him is that the part that he shared with me was not an indicator that was built into the platform, and there was not an existing NinjaTrader 8 indicator out there publicly available using this thing. So that in and of itself is kind of good, right? Murray math? I'm not sure what you're talking about there. I'll look it up. I will look it up after the stream. Maybe we will have a project. GAN. Man, it looks like more technical analysis nonsense, but Murray trading strategy lines and price action. Oh, look, there's a futures IO. Well, you know that if like the second result is futures IO, that it's a post by Mike is the person that created it in 2009. Well, I will go back and do some backtesting on it. Do you trade? I would not recommend day trading crypto. I will take a trade, or I would say a midterm investment in Bitcoin if I think that it's undervalued, which hasn't happened in a long time. So I'm just kind of waiting. Still think it's going to crash any day now. Well, what have they done today's session? Now would be a good time to check that. Okay, so they were selling a little bit overnight, but it hasn't gone much of anywhere today. I really would not recommend day trading crypto. I really would recommend against day trading crypto. I've seen more and more people coming in and like they've got trade robots and stuff like that trading it. And I'm just telling you, like, crypto can be really deceptive when it's going up. And I knew a number of people that were doing those things in 2017. And I said, oh, it's going to crash. And then after it crashed, I'm literally talking about a couple dozen people that I knew that they came back and they told me that on the downturn that their strategies had lost it all. So I would, you're really at the whim of large players over there. I really would not recommend day trading cryptocurrency. Okay, well, it's time for me to get going. So we never gave today a title. The week starts turbulent once again. Okay, dokie. I will see you guys tomorrow. In the meantime, oh yeah, hit that like button. And in the meantime, stay profitable, friends.